No, okay. All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I'm building cities.
And I'm Claire, and I have the golden watering can.
And this is
Make
Make That
that game!
Game!
Where we pitch the latest
The greatest
new video game ideas.
that aren't going to get made.
No, they're not. But we're going to pitch them anyway. Isaac?
Yeah, we got to put them out there.
We got to. Who, if not us, who?
People got to know. People got to know about all these ideas.
It's
People
important.
must know.
It's important.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Isaac's, do you have a game to pitch to us today?
I actually do.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
The working title is Logistician,
I
which
need
I
you
think
Nope, I need you to say it one more time.
Logistician,
Okay.
Logistician. I
Okay.
just put it into Google Translate to Latin
Yeah.
because I thought it would be funny because I knew it was a Latin word. And from what I remember from 15 minutes ago, that
Mhm.
was how it was pronounced. But I think I added a little bit of a French flair
Yeah.
to the Ian
the-
there.
yeah.
And maybe it was Logistician or something like that. But anyways,
Yeah.
it is a 4X grand strategy game about moving resources and building roads. And now, if you don't know what a 4X game,
I don't.
like grand strategy game is, oh, you don't.
I
Oh,
don't.
perfect. Then
Yeah.
this explanation is for you.
Awesome.
All the listeners know exactly what this
Yeah,
is,
obviously.
obviously, because they are pro gamers.
Oh, and I'm not a pro
Um,
gamer? Wow.
no,
Wow.
sorry, you're not.
Wow.
Have you ever made money playing a video game?
Not yet. But if you
Okay.
subscribe to our YouTube channel, you're going to help us get there.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. We got to get that monetized. Okay. So, 4X grand strategy game.
Have you ever gotten paid to play a video game?
Don't worry about it.
No? Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. I forgot one of so the 4X represents 4 core gameplay elements.
Okay.
Explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. So this is technically more of a 3X game
Does it remove
because
the exploit one?
no, it removes the exterminate. The exploit
Okay.
is about like resources. Like if you find a grove of wood, you exploit the resources. You gain wood and move on. I don't think it's about exploit. I don't think it's like colonial. Yeah, exploit means players gather and use resources in areas they control and improve the efficiency of that usage. That is actually the core of this game.
Then what
Because
does exterminate mean?
exterminate means destroy your enemies.
Okay. It does
That's
sound
not
like colonialism, the game, but
I mean, effectively, and I mean, we have talked about this before.
yeah,
Most of these games are that, and it makes me feel weird that I like these games so much. But so yeah, we remove the exterminate part because this isn't so much about commanding armies. This is about supporting armies. This is you are running the logistics of an empire. So what the actual gameplay is you have this big sprawling map of the empire that you run, and I call it the empire in my notes. So let's just say I'm taking a lot of inspiration from like the Roman Empire, so like that kind of like era, but it could apply anywhere and anytime because it's a generic enough concept. You have the map, and the map is split into like different territories. It has the basic roads that you start the game with, and like one of the difficulty levels could be like how established the empire is when you start. Like, does it start with no roads for super difficulty? Does it start with lots of roads for the easiest? So that's like one of the cool factors that you could tweak to make different games unique. You could randomly generate the empire, randomly generate like the starting roads, resource nodes, cities, and various war fronts, and whatever else would eventually get involved. What you as the player do is each like province, each county, whatever the breakup is, has a couple of different ratings. that you keep track of and make decisions based on. So like scarcity, the amount of resources that they have is like listed as the scarcity. The amount of wealth they have is like straight up money, which is often tied with scarcity, but I wanted to split it out to just have a couple extra factors to tweak. Safety is like, are wolves, bandits, or enemy soldiers like marauding this province? Like, is it super dangerous because of a massive pack of wolves, or like, is it on a war front so there's tons of enemy soldiers? And then loyalty is like the likelihood of the province to actually obey you because you're not actually the emperor. And even if you were, there would be some level of like, if you say, hey, I need your quarry to send a bunch of stone to this other province, if their loyalty's low, they might not do that. So that's an interesting
Okay.
little feature in this game. Um, the majority of what you do is dictate where roads are built and where resources are sent. Um, you don't control like troop movements, but your troop movements will be based on the roads you build, obviously. And yeah, you can say, hey, we need Province X to send all of its wood that is harvested this last year, and it needs to be sent to the war front for siege machines or something. Occasionally, the Emperor, the actual Emperor, is going to give mandates, which may like be what you were doing anyways because it's a good idea, but sometimes it's bad ideas. Sometimes emperors have bad ideas and they're like, take all of the food from our main cities and send it to the out borders, and
Hmm.
you have to listen to it and you have to figure out how to listen to it, and it takes priority. So that's like the mechanics. And then a couple of the design elements that I'm going for are to sell the importance of roads. Info only updates when you actually get messengers back from those provinces. So your player character exists. Uh, well, I originally thought like you would live in the capital and you would send messengers out and receive messengers, but I think it would be an interesting thing for you to be able to move around physically yourself, and then that affects things too. Like you get messengers faster from the front if you're closer to the front. So I've just added that gameplay element.
Okay.
You actually have a character in the world that you move from province to province, and you can risk yourself for benefits or you can stay in safety, and there's various downsides. But normally in like these kinds of grand strategy games like Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, and like the Total War games, like you get instant updates. Like if something far away from the capital, like if an enemy attacks it, you instantly know that you got attacked. Or if you are gathering resources in an area, that goes to like your overall pool of resources and it's instantaneous. But if you give a command, hey, I want to move, and I'm going to keep using this example, stone from province X to province Y, you actually have to send a messenger to X. And then the messenger comes back and says, hey, X agreed to do it. And then in order to see whether the resources actually got sent out or made it there, you have to wait until messengers come back from along the road or from province Y. So there's a lot of shaky information that you're dealing with, and you don't get like 100% accurate information all the time. So
Okay. I
uh,
like that. I like that a lot in the sense of like making it, I guess, like adding realism, and then also like you can make a mistake and you wouldn't know you made a mistake until like you've already made two more mistakes, basically.
exactly, yeah, I want to have this like level of uncertainty because of like the and the way what I think that this does, what my goal here is, I want to really sell the importance of the roads. Like if you have really solid roads, your messengers can move very quickly back and forth among them. If you have roads that go everywhere that they need to go and they have good interconnectivity and there's like various routes that they can take, if like one area gets flooded, they aren't completely stuck there. They can take another road to get around. If you have multiple bridges across one river, all that kind of stuff. The better your roads are, the more information that you're going to get, and also uh, the safer the roads are. So like you can have road guards going along certain areas. You can command some level of soldiers to like patrol certain roads to improve the safety. Because if the enemies are all along like this one road, your messengers might never make it to where they need to go, or they might never make it back, and you might never get updates, and you're just sitting there like, okay, it says that this province has like this level here, but it also hasn't updated in 7 months. So
So
what's
what?
really going on out there?
So the one thing I'm not clear on, and that I think, I mean, maybe I am, but is the actually like what I see when I play the game. Because most of, like you said, most of these games, like you would get updates immediately, or you'd be able to see the roads actually being built. But it sounds like you're not seeing anything. Like you, no matter what, you're just like maybe like the inside of a tent, and then you get letters and stuff. Like what's
Nope.
the
So
visual?
so you do get to see like the map.
Yeah,
So you see the map of
but
the
you can't see
empire.
the live map, right? Because then that would be cheating, because you'd know what's coming.
Well, so you see the live map, but what it is like all the information that it displays has like a little note like last updated X in game months ago.
So it's not a live map then. if it
Mm,
A live map would be one that's like live, like it's updating as it goes.
true,
So if I
true.
said
Yeah,
I'm
but
so if I said build this road, then I would see the road built on the map immediately. But that's not what would
yes, that
happen.
would not so like the outline of the road like it would probably show like a dotted line on the map to say that you have given the order for the road to be built. And then it would have like a little progress and maybe like the road would actually fill in like from dotted line to solid line as you're building it and you're getting reports back from the messengers. So like
Well,
you
so
would
I think, yeah,
see
I think it wouldn't be like you wouldn't want a progress bar, because what if like the messengers hit like a rock or like a bandits, and then you can't, and then the road couldn't be built? Well, like you would see that on the map, and that would spoil it if the messenger's not going to get there for
right,
another two
but it
days.
the map only updates when the messengers
Right.
get
So that's
back
why
to
you
you.
can't really have a progress bar. I guess you can, but only if it's messenger
Well,
focused.
yeah, the messenger can come back and be like, my lord, the
Yeah.
road is 50%
So
complete."
basically, so what I guess my question, and it seems like there's like very little like animated things happening on this, like because it's like a map that will update, but it can't update with, it's not going to be like a slow moving progress bar like people like building a road, right? Because you can't, because that'll spoil it. Or like, you can't see the troops
That's
physically move, because that would spoil it. So it would more be like you'll see where they are at one update, and then someone updates you that they've moved to this new camp, and then you check, and then like they would be at that camp. But like there's no, it's very like
yes.
simple in that sense. It's not like simple mechanically, but it's simple like,
You're right. You're right. There would not be like yeah, in Crusader Kings you see like the troops walking from uh province to province, boats sailing across the ocean and all that. You wouldn't really see that
no.
in this game. It probably artistically look like a drawn map,
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm just
which
saying
would be
that's like,
cool.
that's how I'm kind of imagining that. Like you can't really
Yeah.
have a lot of like moving elements, because the whole point is that you don't know what's happening.
Yeah. And then yeah, the other design point is to even more add to the you don't know what's happening, except for what your messengers tell you. You are not the commander of the empire. You're not the emperor. You only do the logistics behind the scene. So you are not the person deciding which wars are getting waged. And you're not the one deciding like grand projects for the empire. You're just getting told like, hey, we're at war in the east now, so make sure the roads are good for us to send soldiers from the heartlands to that border. I know we're also at war. We're still at war with the north, and that's going poorly. Make sure you keep the roads upkept up there too. But I have just on a whim decided that we're also in the war to the east, and you, as the logistician, have to deal with that. That's kind of one of the key things that this game is throwing at you to shake things up. A lot of games have like random events where something happens and you have to react to it. That's what this is. The Emperor is a silly little man who makes bad decisions and throws all your perfectly run logistic empire into the fray.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's Logistician.
All
I
right.
think that's all I've got to go over. I guess there's one other note, just related to the different ratings that the provinces have. Uh, Doing things in certain provinces changes the ratings a little bit. So like if you want a province to be more loyal to you, you send more resources to that province, or like give it a shipment of gold, or increase the soldiers or something. But like, I don't know, was that obvious? Was it
I
obvious that you would be playing with those like different meters
I mean,
by
we
doing that kind of stuff?
since you mentioned there was like a loyalty meter, then a little bit. You already said
Yeah,
that.
okay, I thought so. But let's make it explicit.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. That's why those different meters exist, so that you can make judgments like, oh, I need to build better roads here because it's scarce. So we need we need the ability to get resources in there, or it's not safe. So I better hire road guards using the emperor's money. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Logistician.
There you go.
Bing. That's a game
Game.
idea. We
Yeah,
did
it
it.
is.
See you next week. I'm gone.
Okay, well, sounds good. Bye.
No. Oh, do you have a game idea, Claire?
I do, yeah. I do.
Wow. Is it
I
about
know.
building roads?
A little bit, yeah. It's actually also a city builder, so welcome.
What?
I don't know. I don't
Incredible.
know. Yeah.
Wow.
So my game idea is called Oh No Bears. And Isaac probably knows a little bit about what it's going to be about because we were having a conversation in the car. I used
Okay.
things that happen around you as my inspiration for this game. So there's a fun story. You can Google it. I just looked up Libertarian Beartown, New Hampshire. And I found
what a
it
good
pretty
Google
quickly.
search.
So that's what you look up, and it's Grafton, New Hampshire. I forget the year, but it was a while ago. But basically, if you don't know, New Hampshire has quite the libertarian population. Libertarians believe that the government should have no control over anybody or anything they do. Right? That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's a pretty succinct way to describe it.
Yeah.
And so they said, hey, what if we just made a town where we can have where we can just do that? We can just have no rules and just be libertarians in our libertarian society. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. Hell yeah. And they picked Grafton, New Hampshire. And what happened was because they didn't have any like services or like public
They didn't have
policies.
animal control.
Yeah, they didn't have animal control. They also did not have garbage people. Like they didn't have a garbage system. Because
I forgot that was part of it.
That's really the big reason. So Grafton's really up north in New Hampshire, and up north there's a lot of animals, including bears. And one of the reasons that garbage management is so important in our society is because of animals, because we live in, a world with animals, and they're hungry and they smell things.
Garbage smells good.
So, yeah, what happened was because there was no garbage systems, because that's usually a public funded system, right? Like our taxes fund garbage collection. Don't forget that.
Yeah, it's not just something, although depending on where you are, it is also a private service.
It could be. Yes, you do know a little bit about the garbage industry.
I do. I am from a big garbage family.
Yeah. It's true, though.
That sounds like an insult.
It does,
oh,
but it's
no.
not. It's true. Anyway. Isaac and his garbage family. But yeah, so it can be different in different places. But the main point is these libertarians, they weren't prioritizing that. And then bears came and they said, this sounds great. There's just food everywhere for me. And they basically ran them out of the town and they had to like get it under control before people could go back. And because they were literally everywhere, bears took it over.
One of my favorite parts about that story was because there was like no government oversight and they could not set town policies. Bad actors like played a part in this. Like there was people who were leaving donuts in their backyard to attract bears.
Jeez.
For whatever reason. And because there was no like actual governance, nobody could stop them. They were like, no, we founded this town on individualism. If I want to do this, I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
And no one could tell them, oh, no, actually, please don't.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a beautiful thing. So anyway, so that happened. And you might be saying, well, Claire, this is supposed to be a game pitch, not a fun story time about libertarians. And you're right. So the game Oh No Bears is a city builder where your job is to build a town for libertarians. But the difficult balance is that you have to make it with enough rules that the bears don't outrun your town. But
if you do too much rules, do the people revolt?
Leave? Yes. So basically,
I love this balancing act that you've got.
Yeah.
This is great.
So I imagine it looking like. So my dad used to play Caesar, that game.
Yes. Yep.
So I imagine it kind of looking like that, not quite as
Like a modern, like 3D instead
yeah.
of pixel art kind of deal.
And you know, so you'd build your town, like you'd start, you like you were like you'd do roads, you do all this stuff, and then but a lot of it would be ordinances, kind of like Animal Crossing, I guess, like ordinances where you know you set the ordinance of like, are you gonna have a police force? Are you gonna have animal control? Are you gonna have, and then you'll see like your citizens kind of like happiness meters of like how like satisfied they are with living there.
So kind of like a Zoo Tycoon or whatever,
Yeah,
where you can click on someone and they're like, I had a burger, it was good. I waited too long in line.
So you like click on someone and they're like, I wasn't allowed to like shoot fireworks in the town center. I want to leave. And so your goal is to keep your population up while not being overrun by bears. And so just like Zoo Tycoon, well, I don't know about Zoo Tycoon, but I used to play Mall Tycoon. And if your mall got really bad, it would be overrun by zombies. I don't really know why. But kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So like,
and the bears are the zombies.
Yeah.
In this
So
case.
like as you lose rules, you'll suddenly see like more bears approach. So yeah. So you just want to. It's basically like how long can you keep this town alive? Either you have to maintain a certain population, and you also have to not have bears. And that's the game.
Okay.
And it's called Oh No Bears.
Okay, I like it. Is this a learn 'em up kids game?
Not really, because I don't think...
It seems like it has some educational value.
I would say no, because like I wouldn't want a learn 'em up game to focus on like providing a correct town for libertarians, right? Like,
true, you're right. You're
like,
right.
Is there an inherent lesson in the whole tale? Yeah, there is, but I don't really want to hit that over the head. You know, like this is supposed to be like a funny game based on an incident, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
well,
that's
hey,
my
that's
game.
a good.
Oh No Bears. I'm
funding it.
Yeah. So I want us to do. It's not really a new segment, but it's not an often segment we can have, and it's called Listener Mail.
Oh, that's right. I actually had that open, and I completely forgot about it. So thank you for. We have listener mail.
Yeah, we have listener mail. And I'm just skimming it. So listener Meghana and also guest Meghana. So you can watch Meghana's episode. I'll leave a link or a note or something. A messenger will come to you with information about how to watch Meghana's episode. But she wrote in and she wrote us a little essay. So I don't know, maybe Isaac, you and I can tag team this listener mail.
So I like that it is set up in sections.
Yeah.
So I think. Because we just did pitches,
right.
So we can read the pitch part, and then I'm going to ask a question, and before I do that, I can respond to the Isaac asked a question part. I can read that out loud.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to read. So Meghana sent in a pitch. So let us know what you think about this pitch. And if you are like, wow, this is so cool that someone's getting their game pitch read on Make That Game, the podcast, you too can have that happen. Just send us an email at makeThatGamePodcast@gmail.com. We would love that. So anyway, Meghana kind of summarized it because she did text it to me and then emailed it officially. So it is called...
We won't respond to... This is for a specific listener that I know. We won't respond to anything unless it's a YouTube comment, a Twitter thing. You can't just DM me on my personal account.
Yeah, we don't care how much
expect me to respond officially on the podcast.
Yeah,
okay?
We don't care how much you know us or think you're a VIP. This is
you
how
go
you
through
get
the
on the
same
podcast.
channels as everyone else.
Yeah, you have to engage with us through the channels we have set up for you. All right.
Boundaries.
Yes.
No parasocial relationships.
I mean, if you want to DM us on our official Twitter and Instagram accounts at Make That Game Pod, go for it. But like, not on my account.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No.
But Meghana,
all right. So into the pitch.
Into the pitch. So the game is called Band of Bards, and it is an RPG where you can only recruit bards. You collect legendary instruments and find a divine stage to plan a performance to appease angry gods. So I see a little of the Apple game, Ragnar Apple.
Yeah, no, that's my first thought too. Angry Gods Apple game. There we go.
The world is vast, and towns and natural features are named and themed after music genres, which I told Meghana sounds like Trolls World Tour, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
And of course, background music supports this. Example, a mountain range called the Bluegrass Mountains or a chill beach town called Bossa Nova. Oh, it sounds so good.
I love that.
I want to play right now. You of course get to pick what your band looks like and what your instrument specialty is, each of which would provide a different play style. Brass is more offensive, string healing focused, percussion more defensive, woodwind more status effects, and vocals are sort of a jack of all trades, but doesn't excel at any one area.
So I have a question
Yeah.
on this, and maybe you can answer. Maybe we wait for Meghana to respond in YouTube comments or something. But now, were those decisions like gut feelings, like just from personal experience, or I don't know? Is there some kind of theory like brass is a more offensive tone,
I mean, I'm
but
guessing.
string is more chill, so it's healing. Like, is there musical theory for that,
Yeah,
or
I mean, Meghana is a great person to answer this because she was in marching band for a while and did like jazz band and does play brass instrument. She was in a campaign of D&D I ran and she was a brass dragon and her thing was that she invented the trombone.
good? Good. That is a good character
It was really
concept.
good. And also the concept was that like since that was the first trombone and like she had a trombone, but it was the first one in existence, so all the other characters had to be like, "What's that?"
Love it.
It's really good. So anyway, but yeah, I will say also that when I said brass is more offensive because that was the first one, I think she means offensive in the sense that like fighting forward. Right, like,
Oh yeah, I pronounce those the same.
yeah, same. But well, I guess
Offensive and offensive.
I was just thinking it meant like brass is more offensive. Like people like no,
People are offended by it. Yeah.
no the trumpet. Like anyway, back to the pitch. Hold on. All right, I lost my place in it.
After you pick your instrument specialty.
Yes. Because you have the same thing open. After you pick your instrument specialty, you pick your primary instrument and set off into the world. Music is used to fight monsters, solve puzzles, and complete side quests. As you befriend bards to help you on your journey, you can also befriend other bands to help you perform at the Concert of the Gods. So it's like that's great. It's like a big concert, big festival.
Yeah.
Best of all, there should be an option to use Guitar Hero or Rock Band like controllers, and multiplayer should be offered as well. I'm really excited about this game and hope something like this actually exists, a cross between Rock Band, Wandersong, and Final Fantasy.
So
and Trolls World Tour. In my mind.
I don't know about the using a Rock Band controller, and I don't know how much they get into like the actual rhythm-based gameplay. But for the GameCube, let me find this. There was a game. I think it was about Chopin. Yeah, it's a game called Eternal Sonata.
Oh, you've mentioned this before. To me, I think.
Yeah, it is a role-playing game, music focused. It's about Chopin. Yes, you basically you play as Chopin in a fantasy world. And I mean, as an example of what this is doing, the other characters are named polka, allegretto, beat, viola, salsa, march, like these falsetto.
Mhm.
So I think that this is as close to the game that you described as you're going to get if you can track down a GameCube. Oh, it was never actually on the GameCube. It was Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Why did I think GameCube?
I don't know. But so with Rock Band, what Megan is talking, you've never played Rock Band, right? You played Guitar Hero.
No.
Great. So Rock Band, I love Rock Band. I've hinted at the podcast before that I do have a Rock Band history. Oh man, it's like the best. It's like, it's so good. So anyway, because they have like they have a whole like story mode and you're like a band like traveling and trying to make it big, and oh man, I got so into it. But yeah, so it has 4 instruments, so you have bass, guitar, drums, and vocals, and those are all separate controllers. So it really feels like you're like part of a band.
And I like the idea of Band of Bards having like a multiplayer, like a drop-in multiplayer style thing where normally you would control your party as a single player, but if your friends were over, you could actually like Rock Band style it.
Yeah, and then
and have your friends sing.
And maybe you could even like MMORPG it and have like you can meet other bands, like real bands that are playing the game, and like jam sesh together.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I'm throwing it off, but yeah. So I love this Band of Bards, right? I just closed.
Band of Bards.
Band of Bards. Yes. So that's Meghana's pitch. And again, if you want to hear your own pitch on our podcast, we will read it. It is through email at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. Please do so. The end. So, Isaac, you mentioned that you had a question and also that Megan had a response to your question last week. So, let's move on to our segment. Isaac, ask a question.
Da-da-da-dun. So, okay, yeah. So last week I asked about game series and the differences between different entries in a series. Like, what do you like games to be mostly the same? Do you like games to uh, vary wildly between different entries? Do you like to play the same game 10 times, or do you want to play 10 completely different games with the same name, theme, etc., characters? So, Megana says, for the Isaac Asks a Question segment, if I were in charge of Pokemon, I'd actually just want to make a spin off rather than making a new iteration to the franchise. Primarily a Pokemon slash Story of Seasons slash Rune Factory crossover where you recruit Pokemon to help you on your farm, grow berries and apricorns to create potions, items, and Pokeballs, and fall in love with a creative cast of Pokemon trainers, shopkeepers, etc. That's just part one, but I do want to say that's 2 pitches in one email, and that is a beautiful pitch. That is an underserviced realm of the Pokemon franchise. I feel like they should be doing like a little slice of life cuz they've done the main games. They've done like dungeon crawlers, like roguelike dungeon crawler style games. They've done like Arceus, which is like basically the main gameplay from the gameplay from the main games, but like just different enough to be considered like a side game. But they have never done like this slice of life farm game that I'm aware of. And let's go for it, Nintendo. Let's go, Game Freak. Let's do it. But I digress. Megana continues. If I had to continue the Pokemon legacy as it currently is, I would like to do something where all previous game gimmicks could be added in. Like, what if the first few gyms were focused on battle styles? So, Pokemon introduced over the years double battles, where you have 2 Pokemon fighting 2 Pokemon, triple battles, where you have 3 Pokemon fighting 3 Pokemon, and rotation battles, which were incredibly silly, and I don't even think I could adequately explain it in the time we have on this podcast. But then the next few could be focused on Mega Evolution. The next few use these moves, then Gigantamaxing, and then finally the Elite Four uses all of them at once. Either that or there would be multiple Pokemon leagues dedicated to each gimmick. Of course, there'd be a bunch of new Pokemon and maybe even introduce a new type, but I'd want to make sure it would be as visually pleasing as possible. Actual high quality animations, less cutscenes, having the Pokemon follow you around and interact with the world around you. So, I like all of this. I went over Mega Evolutions, Z moves, Gigantamaxing, last episode, so listen to that because I think I used Pokemon as my example. It would take a lot of time to explain them all again, but I would like this idea. I would like them to actually reuse these mechanics in a better way, and I like the escalating scale of kind of like introducing new mechanics and like incorporating it into the main gameplay, because I think one of the problems uh with like rotation battle was I don't think there was ever a gym leader who actually did it. There was like a guy behind a building somewhere that if you talk to, he'd be like, check out the new fun thing, rotation battles. Want a rotation battle with me? And that was like the only time in the game that it ever happened. Whereas at least with like double battles, like there was at least one gym leader in every game that would actually use it. But yeah, thanks for the email. Thanks for answering my question. I think those were good ideas.
Yeah.
And I guess it's time for me to ask a new question.
It's time.
And this week my question is, do you have an on-site genre? Is there a type of game that you will want to play almost no matter what? As soon as you see that it falls into this genre, you're like, "Okay, I feel like I'm going to have to play that
Oh,
one." If so,
what is
what
it?
is it that draws you to that specific genre? Now, it sounds like you had an answer.
No, I was going to ask you to define genre for me
Oh,
before I
uh,
answer because I'm not quite sure.
okay. So in video games, genre generally refers to like the overarching like gameplay style. Like
Well, because so I think of genre like, okay, adventure, action adventure, RPG,
Yeah.
like, okay. Because I feel like that's almost too broad to say, like, because there can be RPG games I love and RPG games I'm like, no thanks. Right?
Yeah, so you might like your answer to this might be that you don't have an on-site genre.
What I think,
Like,
or what I think you might want to ask, what I think you're trying to get at is,
oh.
so Reading Glasses, which is a podcast I've mentioned before, it's very good. They have things wheelhouses. Like, what's your reading wheelhouse? Basically, if you see a book that has these elements, you'll buy it. Like the video game question you came up with, like the same question.
Effectively, yes, that is.
But I think
that
they
is what I'm
narrow it
asking,
down
yeah.
more where it's, I don't just say fiction, because like that's way too broad, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, it's easier for me to say what I won't play, I think, versus what I will. But
based on Binding of Isaac, you absolutely will not play roguelikes.
Nope. Roguelikes, first-person shooter. I guess there's not one genre because it has to have something else that like catches me, right? Like I don't generally like slice of life farming, that kind of thing, except I do like Animal Crossing, you know? So like that was like an exception to the rule.
Yes.
And then like first person can be hard, but if I play as a cat, then I'll play it.
So you are more nuanced than me, it sounds like.
Well, we've learned that we think about video games very differently. But yeah, so I'm going to say...
And that's why this podcast works, I think. Because
yes.
you think that Kirby is... I'm bringing it back, folks. Move, jump, suck. And I have a lot more subcategorizations of how that movement is happening.
Yeah.
What you're doing with that jumping.
So I think if I was to say my video game wheelhouse, like what elements of a game are going to get me to play it or get me to really want to play it, it would be like visual. So like it has to look cool. And like for me that means like either like a cutie 3D kind of like new Animal Crossing, new Link's Awakening, or like a very artsy like
Gris.
Yeah, exactly, like Grease, even though that turned out not to be that great. But unpopular opinion.
Didn't like it?
I honked and bonked it. I'll try to find the episode, but I liked it. I didn't think it lived up to the hype.
Okay,
like it was at the end of the day, it just kind of felt
legitimate.
like a pretty platformer, and everyone was like, "This game is like blah blah," and it's like it was a pretty platformer. It was a vibe. It was great, but you know, Let's see if I get any hate for that. But yeah, so it has
Hopefully
to look
not.
like either artsy or kind of like this 3D fun style.
Polly Pocket. If it looks like Polly Pocket, she'll buy it.
It's true. I had forgotten how much Link's Awakening looks, because it looks more like Polly Pocket than any other of the new 3D style games, because they do a thing with focus, like depth of field. So like everything slightly out of frame is slightly out of focus, so it looks tiny. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. That game it's the best look of any game. I just can't get over it. It looks like Polly Pocket, and I love it. Anyway. Yeah, so it has to look cool, in my opinion. I think the story has to be compelling. And like I have to be able to be like sucked into the story. I'm not going to really get sucked into the gameplay necessarily. For the gameplay's sake. Like I need to be motivated by something to do it. And then there has to be some kind of like customization, outfit scenario, decor. Like I want to be able to like change the walls of my hut, or like like my hat, collect a hat. I don't know, like those are like the three top things.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is you will play Turnip 'em ups and Link's Awakening 'em ups.
Link's Awakening doesn't have outfits or decor, now that I'm thinking about it, which is...
It does have outfits.
That's not the same.
Green tunic,
That's
red
not the
tunic,
same.
blue tunic.
No. Nope. But
it is.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't play games that don't fit into these, but like if those three things exist, I'm like, I want to try that game.
Yeah.
Like the story seems
and
cool.
That's what this is
pretty,
asking about, because like I don't go out and buy everything of my wheelhouse.
Right.
I have a little bit more self-control than that, sadly. Or
barely, but we did run out
Barely.
of room on 2 SD cards on the Switch, so
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so what about you? What is your genre? And then also if you have a wheelhouse, but
Yeah, so city builders.
Oh yeah, you love
And
that.
I think we knew
Yeah.
this going into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's especially convenient. And this always happens on accident. Folks, we do not talk about these ideas
No,
beforehand.
we
So the
don't.
fact that I came up with like a 4X grand strategy about building roads and she came up with a city builder, and then I asked a question where my answer was city builders, coincidental. But all of our every time I ask a question, I feel like it actually falls in line with like what the rest of the episode has been about.
I know. It's magic.
Magic. I'm great at this. But yeah, city builders. Every time I see a city builder on Steam, on Epic Game Store, one comes across me on Twitter, I at the very least wish list it, and then it's like, okay, but I am already playing 19 other games right now. I have not even like really finished to a satisfactory extent, like Wandering Village. Do I want to buy another $30 city builder game that I am going to maybe spend 4 hours on, and then another game comes out and I feel compelled to buy that? So I have been picking and choosing a lot more lately, but I get interested in every single one. I like wish list it.
Wow.
I like look at it. I put it into my shopping cart on Steam, and I'm at the checkout button, and I'm like, ooh, but is this a good purchase? Is
I
this a
guess.
good use of my money? Every single time, people, city builders, 4X grand strategy games like Crusader Kings. People have been talking about the newest release from Paradox Interactive, which does a lot of these games, Victoria. And I'm like, ooh, but Victoria? Should I should I buy Crusader Kings but in the Victorian era? And then I'm
Hmm.
like, no, 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 no. I'm already playing other games. Like I'll get to it eventually. I'll get to it eventually.
Well, anyway, yeah, that's great. Cool. So yeah, please leave your game genre that you will just buy on site in the comments. I thought of as you were talking, I was like, well, if it has Kirby in the title, I will put it in the cart. But that's not a genre. That's a series.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
It is a jump, move, jump, suck 'em up. So series.
Moved on second
You can
up.
make anything a genre by adding 'em up
Yeah.
to like a vaguely descriptive
Correct. So anyway,
phrase.
let us know down below in the comments or send us an email, DM us on Instagram, to Twitter, maybe if it's still around by the time this podcast comes out.
They're speedrunning the destruction. So AGDQ tweeted on their official account, no speedrunning like the destruction of Twitter, or the bankruptcy of Twitter or something. It's not a valid uh, category,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. It is. All right.
Twitter is just a playground now. No, even the official brand accounts like that have to maintain a modicum of decorum are not doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't want to. I don't think that's for this podcast to say.
True. Yeah.
So-
You're okay. All right. Let's rapid fire or something.
Yeah, it's the rapid fire round. So, in the rapid fire round, we generate 3 random words. They are completely random. We do not know these words ahead of time, and we have to create a game based on those 3 words in 5 minutes. Isaac, are you ready with the timer?
I am starting now.
Okay. Charismatic. Joint. Fear.
So joint makes me think of marijuana,
Oh, okay. I was thinking like
which
woodworking.
fear
but...
also plays into because of paranoia.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But then I don't know how you get charismatic in there.
I also don't know how it's a game.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it could be a first-person horror game where
Yeah.
you play as a stoned person.
Their first time.
Their first time.
Here we go. Here we go. A charismatic friend has convinced you to smoke for the first time, and and you did too much, and you overdid it.
You overdid it, and you're like wandering through like a creepy abandoned house because that's the best place to. Because you're in New Hampshire where it's still illegal to smoke weed, so you can't just smoke it in your room.
Correct.
So you're in a creepy abandoned house, and then your friend disappears, and now you have to like go through the house, but you're also stoned and paranoid, and you're hearing sounds and everything's
Yeah,
and
so
then
you
you
won't
get
know
out of
like
the
what's
house and the
real,
game's
what's
done.
not real. Like, yeah. No, I like this.
Yeah.
But maybe as you play, one of the mechanics could be like as you play, because it's like it'll like get worse and then it'll start to get better. So like the longer you're in the house, like the more things look like normal and then they like settle down.
But I feel like to stop you from doing that, maybe there's a mechanic where you continue to smoke.
Yeah, because the charismatic friend keeps coming back and being like, "Oh, what? You're done already?"
Yeah, take another hit, dude. Take another hit. And then you're like, no, 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 but it's almost normal time. I almost found my way out.
It's like, sorry, bro. That's good. All right.
Uh,
So we call it
so
Puff
I
Puff
want to
Paranoia. The video, no?
Puff Puff Paranoia. Doesn't really sell the horror genre
No.
that well.
Fair. What were you going to say?
I was trying to fit like dank into it. Like take a normal fear
Dank Dungeon.
that is actually, I'm pretty sure, a game. But
Okay.
fear like make it like sound very horror-y, like fear of darkness
Fear of
or something,
dankness.
but then fear of dankness. That's what I was kind of
Remember when dank
trying.
was like a way to say cool? Did that exist in your school?
Yes. Yes, it
Good
did.
times being a millennial. Dank.
Dank, like dank cabin. I
That
don't
does
know.
not sound
Nothing with dank in
spooky.
it is really coming out to me. So like,
What other
we've got
spooky
2 minutes
words?
left though to just hang out and
Think of all the spooky words that have to do with pot.
stench of fear.
Bong. Bong goes the scary clock.
Wait, is there something paraphernalia and paranoia?
Paranophilia. No.
Paranoiaphilia.
That sounds like you're afraid of paranoia. Or you like paranoia.
Yeah, no, that sounds like you like it.
Yeah, no.
Paraphernilioia. Paraphernilioia?
No, that's nothing. Now it
Is
sounds like a
that-
weird disease. I'm not.
Are
no.
Are we going anywhere with this, people?
No.
Like,
No,
okay,
we're
so
not.
dropping
Drop
the
that one.
paranoia, dropping paranoia paraphernalia connection.
Yeah, no.
They've got para, but that's all.
All right, let's see. We got bong, pipe, jump suck.
What, you just threw that. You can't just abuse this new catchphrase.
Okay, fine.
You can't just
Bong, pipe, joint, blunt. What if we just
dubious
doobie doobie boo?
dubious cabin.
Sorry,
Dubious cabin.
dubious cabin.
All right, I'm calling it time
Please.
with 45 seconds left. Dubious cabin.
Dubious cabin. I don't know if you
The
fully
first
heard
person
me say.
blunt exploration horror game.
I don't know if you fully heard me say doobie doobie boo, but I did say that, and I just wanted you to fully react.
I'm not giving you a reaction for that one.
You
I'm
did.
not.
You already did.
Stone faced.
You already
no,
did.
No.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for our next 3 words?
Yes, and I am starting the timer now.
Okay. Privacy. Party.
I like this.
Outside.
Okay.
That's pretty easy.
Do you want to say your idea first?
No, I want to hear your idea first.
Okay. So your next door neighbor is throwing a rager and people keep coming across like the lawn border and like using the bathroom in your house. And you have to build a complex system of lawn traps and labyrinths to make them get lost before they make it into your house so you can maintain your privacy.
So I like that. It's very similar to mine, but I like so mine was going to be more like you're having the party, but you have to like continuously build a fence during the party to keep the neighbors from coming to your party. So it's like the same idea. So I think I like yours.
Okay, I like it.
I like yours better though, because I like that you're trying to it feels like when you play like early Sims and they wash the dishes in the sink, you know, or the bathroom sink.
The bathroom sink, yeah.
And you have to like figure out how to make them not do that. And like it's kind of like that where it's like they're just wandering over and you're like, no, go this way. No, fall into this pit. No, like
yeah, exactly.
Follow this shiny object back to your party. Like I think that sounds really fun.
Right, yeah. And then so I imagine the gameplay is a lot like Plant vs Zombies where like, or maybe even more like the Sims where you have your yard and house are represented by like various tiles and like you can put structures in those tiles. So like you can put a fence, you can put a a rake so that they step on it and it flies up and bonks them in the face, like
Hmm.
Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. Um, put like various stuff like that, and then they navigate like a fence takes a certain amount of time for them to climb over, and like each wave, so each party represents a different wave. And then your goal is to survive as many waves as possible. So your neighbor is just continuously throwing these parties, and they get bigger and bigger, and the people get more and
Yeah.
more determined to use your bathroom for some reason because they are that drunk.
And then when enough people have penetrated your yard, then the game is over and you start again.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's like a tower defense
Yeah. But
game
it's
about maintaining privacy
I love
during a
it.
rager.
All right, so we call it. Let's name it. I think we nailed it. Let's name it.
That's a hard
Get
one
off
because I
my
don't.
lawn. Don't throw your trash in my backyard.
Uh,
DTYTIMBY.
get off my lawn, GTML.
GTML.
I'm wondering. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. See, naming is always the hardest. I like get off my lawn, but I also don't know because I guess you are trying to stop them from being on your lawn. Yeah, I'm gonna say can we call it with get off my lawn?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. A minute and 40 seconds left, folks.
Nice. All right.
That's time.
Are you ready for our final 3 words?
Yeah, starting timer now.
Correction, prince, dull. And it's prince like royal prince.
Okay, I was about to ask,
Yeah.
like fingerprints? Okay.
No, correction, prince,
Dull,
dull.
correction, and prints.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember our prince, our noble, our royalty school idea?
Yeah, I do.
It's that. We it's just the same
No,
game.
and that doesn't
The
no, because
pencils
there's
get dull.
no. No. Not allowed.
Correction papers,
No.
correcting papers.
No. Come up. Okay, fine.
We
Here.
did all the work last episode.
No.
Okay, fine. Come up with a new idea.
Okay, so it could be like have you heard of the movie The Man in the Iron Mask with Leonardo DiCaprio?
I've heard of the movie.
So basically, the plot is that Louis the 16th, I believe, who was like the
Mhm.
Sun King of France, but he like wasn't cool until like middle of his reign, and then he was cool, is what I understand from the movie. And so the theory
Okay.
is that like he had a secret twin brother, and they like either exile or kill the real prince. I don't know what happened there, and then the twin brother takes over, and he's just like better at the job. So I think you need to correct the royal um by like creating a lookalike and placing them instead. So the current prince is too dull, and you need to correct it by choosing the correct person for the job.
So okay, so what's the gameplay?
I
Like
don't know. Now it's your turn. Your turn.
okay, all right. So all right, the gameplay needs to revolve around finding a lookalike
Who's good at
who
prancing?
also has the correct policies.
Yes.
And then okay. All right. So it is a series of interviews.
Okay.
Um okay, this is going to be a very short game. This is going to
That's
be a
fine.
play at once like almost edutainment style
It can be like
like
a web,
very
like you just log in, play
yeah,
it.
it's just like a little web game, but all right. So there is a cast of characters. You interview them, and then based on their policies that they tell you, it's a bunch of menu options to ask them questions. So you have to get all the information you can through interviews, and based on their personality, they might like not give you good answers, and you have to make decisions based on what they do give you. And then based on their appearance and their what you can understand of their personalities and policy, you pick what the best one would be. And then after you pick one of these characters that you've interviewed, um,
You just like
Then there's
see.
another gameplay segment, which is like kidnapping the old prince and getting him to a boat past all the guards so that you can do the swap. So there's two gameplay phases. And then once you've done that, the believability, like the public opinion gets tallied up based on
Yeah.
how close in appearance it is. So like one of the characters like let's say the prince is like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed like noble looking guy, and then you pick like a big bearded lumberjack. Like there's zero believability there, but if he's got good policies,
People are
maybe
like,
you
yeah,
still
okay.
win on approval. They're like, all right, we'll pretend like that's the same guy for your sake, but you have to get a certain rating
Yeah.
or else you failed
I
the
mean, you
game.
have a
So you
little
get
more
between F
leeway.
and A.
You probably have a little more leeway with like the general public in this scenario because we didn't have like photographs and Instagram. So it's like, you
Plus,
know,
they always saw them up on a
right.
ledge.
Yeah. So like, who's gonna? How would they know? How would they
I mean,
know?
that's part of the gameplay is
Yeah.
you know that. So you're like, okay, I can get the guy with the slightly big nose or the
Yeah.
wrong color
That's not
eyes.
gonna be a
We'll
big
just
deal.
in the paintings, we'll tell the artist paint them blue,
Yeah.
even though they're clearly green, and then no one will know because they'll see the paintings and be like, oh, blue eyes, yeah, okay, that's him.
All right.
So
All right. So that sounds like the game. Let's name it.
pick the prince,
Yep. I like it.
prince picker.
No, I like Pick the Prince.
All right, pick the prince with, oh boy, 15 seconds left.
Ooh,
Time.
we were almost
We cut it real close.
out, but we did it, and that's our show.
Bam.
So thank you all for listening. You can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Make That Game Pod. You can follow us on YouTube at Make That Game is our handle. You can find us
YouTube.com.
// at Make That Game. Make sure you use that ampersand. It's not an ampersand. What is it?
At symbol.
Does it have a special name?
What's the at symbol? I don't think the at symbol has a name.
All right, it's not an ampersand though. So the at symbol, Make That Game. You can find us on YouTube. Please subscribe. It really helps us out. Even if you don't watch us on YouTube, that'd be great. And even if you don't listen to us on iTunes, we would love for you to leave us an iTunes review. You can listen to us on any of your favorite podcast players, pretty much. And that's us. If you want to send us an email, you can send us an email at makeThatGamePodcast@gmail.com. And if you heard a game today that you think should exist in this big wide web of worlds, please, you can go out there and make that game.
The absence of a single English word for the symbol has prompted some writers to use the French aerobase or aerobase. I don't know how that would be pronounced. Spanish and Portuguese arroba, or to coin new words such as ampersat and aspirand, or the visual onomatopoeia strudel, but none of these have achieved wide use. So ampersand was actually so close.